Zoom.
Okay, we are live now.
Perfect. Let's start. Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Aprajita, here to take you on another riveting journey through today's Gender and Sexuality webinar hosted by Anna Jory. Before we introduce today's speaker and jump right in, here's a little about Anna Jory for any new faces that have joined us this evening. The word Anna Jory translates to unconditional love, and it is this unconditional bond of love that brought our founder, Milin Dutto, back from the United States of America to begin this beautiful non-profit organization in 2018. With Anajori, Ami Bisarisu to engage with and promote various endeavors and leaders who are striving for social change through multiple initiatives ranging from animal welfare to LGBTQ plus awareness and entrepreneurial pursuits and inspiring journeys. We hope to encourage all the change makers of the Northeast, including Assam. As in the last few months, AMI invite Korisu speakers from different fields through virtual media platforms so that we can create a network of competent, sincere, dedicated individuals who are passionate about uplifting Assam and, by extension, the entire North. Going to introduce our speaker for the evening now. Hrishikesh Sir has joined us, who is originally from Central India. He has a B.Tech degree in engineering, specifically physics from IIT-Bombay, an MSEE from Iowa State University, and an MBA from UCLA, Anderson School of Management. More than anything, he believes that these degrees equip him with the right educational background to navigate both business and tech. He's equally passionate about technology and social impact. Currently, Rishi Sir is driving growth for Samsung and its customers or partners by catering to both its technological and business needs. He co-chairs Trikone, a South Asian LGBTQI+ organization in the mid-2000s, and organized DesiQ, a conference that gathered South Asian LGBTQ activists from all over the world to discuss important topics of the day. He's actively involved with STI, the Indus entrepreneurs, and is currently on the board of IIT-BayA Area, where he has helped raise about $100,000 for its annual alumni focus conference. His venture PrideX amalgamates technology and social impact to uplift LGBTQ plus folks in India. And he married his husband Pin in his hometown in India 5 years ago and created national news that inspired the LGBT community in India and all over the world. Today's session is called Interviewing Inspirations, and you will soon see why. We begin by delving into Rishi Sir's background. In fact, it all began with in India itself, in Yavatmal. Sir, what do you think were some of your fondest memories growing up in India?
Can I share a presentation? I prepared something.
Absolutely,
so
yes.
There's more than just my words. Okay.
Taptaran, in case screen sharing has been disabled, you'll be able to enable it. Can you please check quickly?
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
If I go full screen, it's going to have a problem. So let's take a look. All right, so my fond memories from my hometown. So these are the two I picked. There are many. I used to draw Rangoli, and I was so passionate about it that even when my hand was fractured, I didn't stop. Yeah, this is in our angan outside. I love to do it every day, especially on Diwali and occasions like that.
Beautiful.
Now I don't get a chance to do much, so I express my creativity through PowerPoints. But,
how old
anyway,
were you in the first picture?
This was like 6, 7-year-old.
Oh, how cute. Okay, please go on.
And the next one was is essentially going on trips with my father and his friend circle. There were not too many occasions. We didn't really have car. And so annually during the Ravan Dahan, somebody used to rent a truck and we'll all load ourselves in the back of truck and go to the farms and other places to get that Sona Chandi thing. Come back, watch the Ravan getting burned, and come back to our house. So that was fun. It was sometimes, it was something I remember because we were all there were lots of kids around same age, and we get to play a lot. So these are some of the fond memories I have.
It's lovely. It's quite similar to what we do in Indian pandals as well when we have Durga Puja or any puja for that matter in Assam. We generally like hop around pandals, and we there's a truck that is rented and we go for the Visarjan ceremony. It's quite reminiscent of my own childhood as well. Thank you. Brings back a lot of memories. Okay. From here you went on to IIT Bombay and eventually moved on to the States in pursuit of a job. Once there, you co-chaired Trikone, and which was originally founded in 1986 in the San Francisco Bay Area. And for whoever wants to know, is one of the oldest groups of its kind in the world. Do you want to tell us about your overall experience with Trikone? You can also proceed with your presentation because it's just so beautiful otherwise. So
absolutely. Thanks for the questions. I was able to put this presentation together.
Absolutely.
So Trikone is one of the oldest, not one of, it's the oldest South Asian LGBT group in the world. Started in '86. When I was still in India, I was in high school back then. These two gentlemen here, this one and that one, Ashok and Arvind, they're a gay couple. One from IIT-Bombay, another from IIT Kanpur. Of course, much senior to me. They started this organization. And lo and behold, 20 years later, I became the president of it. Initially, I started, I moved to the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area in 2000. And this is after living in Idaho and Iowa, which are kind of remote places here, and not enough Indians. So there was a lot of racism in addition to homophobia. Some of the remote places are not also very open-minded. So it kind of goes together. And after that experience in Iowa and Idaho, I moved to the Bay Area. I found this organization. Suddenly there are lots of Indian gay people who I could relate to. And I was really moved by that, thrilled by that. And I started volunteering initially as a magazine, just helping with the magazine. In a couple of years, I became a publisher for the magazine, so handle all the work of actually getting it published. Sandeep Roy, who is in Kolkata right now, he is one of the famous journalists. He works for National Public Radio here in the US, but he lives in Kolkata. So he was the editor. And it was fun. But on the organization side, Trikone was kind of having a rough patch. The board was not really doing anything. There were no events. And so some of us got frustrated, and then we said, okay, hey, we want to, we do not like the organization dysfunctional like this. There are a lot of people who want to have the events. The community work is important and it must go on. So I ended up becoming the co-chair. For Trikone, there is no chair. The bylaws say that there has to be two people from the spectrum, LGBT, and they cannot be both the same. So I ended up becoming co-chair and really rescued the organization. There were a lot of troubles, like taxes were not filed. We were on the verge of getting unlisted as a nonprofit. But then, I kickstarted activities and I got the funding to a point where I organized the DesiQ. It's the one big conference where we invited South Asian LGBT activists from all over the world. And this picture is from that conference. It was really all these South Asian organizations, they are doing their thing. They get burnt out. So this conference really helped them to get energized and also learn from each other. How can I do things effectively without wasting too much of my energy, whether it's money, resources, whatever. So it was a great experience for everyone.
And you were doing all of this while, actually also navigating around a full-time job?
Oh, yeah. This is a volunteer work. So this is
Wow.
completely off my main job. So yeah,
Yes.
I was working as engineer at Micron back then.
That's tremendous. That's remarkable because, to hold a full-time
It's a
job,
team
having,
effort.
yeah,
It's a
having
team
moved to
effort.
a completely different, part of the world, and then, to be doing so much there for the community, it just goes to show how much love, we have for the community. And it's not just blood relations, right? It's about, us uniting under the spectrum, under the umbrella, which is a rainbow. This is beautiful. Um, thank
I
you.
mean, the single thing that drove me was, I went through a lot of problems and difficulties, and I just don't see that others should have the same difficulty. And so I was just trying to make it easier for others.
We would also want to talk about those problems in a bit. I know that they exist in papers
We
like
will
we'll
cover
come to
those,
that.
yes.
Yes, absolutely. Apart from Trikone, Hrishikesh sir has also been part of several other endeavors that provide support for the community, as you can see. However, speaking of being a part of the community, Rishi sir is refreshingly candid about his journey, not just as a professional or as an activist, but also as a romantic. In fact, he was here in the Northeast many years ago, and the picture that you saw in the poster was actually from his visit to Meghalaya. This brings us nicely to the second segment of our interview, Rishi Sir's awe-inspiring journey, the story of his finding true love. The same way that every great story has an anticlimax, Rishi Sir's had several. His trip to the Northeast, which was supposed to aid his search for love, did not go as planned, but the universe had more surprises in store for him, mostly good ones. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your journey, about how you met your partner?
Sure. So I will limit my journey to this portion. Before this, I had two relationships that failed and many other dates that didn't work out in the US. So I had relationship with an Indian before, a non-Indian before, and then I dated almost all the ethnicities. And in the US, it didn't really work out. My parents live with me, and so I wanted somebody who was willing to live with me. And I thought, it's not going to work out with somebody who's in America. They have changed their mind. They don't want in-laws around or whatever. So I was like, okay, let's go to India. Find somebody in India. And my taste really aligns with people in the Northeast. As you can see, my husband is, East Asian. So I was like, okay, let's go to Northeast, Indian culture, physically what I like. So I made a big grand Northeast trip. Planned to visit all the seven sisters, but unfortunately I could only visit six. I had to skip Tripura because the roads were too bad some places and I got really late. So I went to Guwahati, of course, and other places, including Imphal and in Mizoram as well, and also Meghalaya. And I kind of liked one person in Meghalaya, and then I came back to the US, and I was, we continued chatting, but I didn't get enough response. So I was like, okay, let me do another trip. So I came back to India, and this time I said, okay, let me not limit myself to Northeast. I kind of, one date with person in Mumbai, and actually a few in Mumbai and Delhi. And then, of course, I went back to Northeast to meet the same person. And that's where this second picture is from. Sorry, the last picture here. Wearing the same t-shirt today. And again, I didn't get a strong vibe from him. I mean, he said interested in all that, but I wanted to see more in action. Like, move, make a decision, come here, that kind of stuff. But nothing worked out. At the end of the day, one guy from Mumbai did visit me here. But that also was a big disaster. So I was like, okay, India didn't work. My US expeditions before didn't work. What do I do? I cannot just keep up. So I went online again, started looking, and lo and behold, I found my now husband, Vin. We barely talked on OkCupid though. It was just like, okay, what is your phone number? Hi, hello, that's it. And we, spoke on a call, and within few months, we got. I proposed him, and then we went to India. We had a grand wedding ceremony in my hometown. You can see that here. These are all my high school buddies, and there were a lot many more people, about 100 or so. But of course, India doesn't recognize the wedding. So we had to come back to California and do another wedding to be legally recognized. And the second picture is from that wedding. We had this interesting outfit there with us in the center. I know the picture is too small, but his friends were on the right wearing like rainbow caps, and my friends were on the left here wearing like the pagri in the rainbow color.
But I'm going to ask you for more details, because there's no way that my audience is going to pardon me for not digging into this, all the juicy masala that's happening here. So let's get up close and personal. Did you always know that Din was the one, or I mean, of course you knew that this was going to happen. This clicked, but did your relationship develop over time? How did your families welcome each other? Give us the scoop.
I mean, of course, the relationship has to develop over time. It cannot be like, parents decide and then you are in wedding. Or in US, there is something called Las Vegas wedding, where people go and there is a drive-in marriage. No.
Yeah.
Ours happened relatively fast, though, not in a day. And I think the reason why it went very fast is because I knew exactly what I wanted. After having 2 failed relationships and many failed dates, I started to wonder, hey, I really need to understand what I want. And I want the other person to do the same thing. And if we are unclear, then we'll have to spend time figuring it out and doing experiments. And then there is lots of drama and fights, and then there is no relationship. And at that time in my life, I was already 40-something and cannot afford to have another failed relationship. So I will talk about some criteria later, but I had a very clear criteria as to what I wanted out of this marriage or relationship. People usually think about few things like physical attractiveness and all that, but I had multi-dimensional kind of spreadsheet. Engineer, sorry, cannot tell it.
That's absolutely fine, I guess. The older we grow, that's
so we met, we did our dating, going on dinner dates, and then we went out for a weekend trip and all that. But then the biggest one was a grand Australia trip. His cousin was getting married in Australia, and I had no other plans. So I said, okay, let me go to Australia. So I ended up getting invited to that wedding. And that was my motive, that I wanted to go to that wedding and meet all his relatives and see him, in the middle of all his relatives. So these are the two pictures from that wedding. His mom there, and then the married couple here. And it was fun. The family welcomed me. And lo and behold, there was another wedding in his family, another cousin getting married. So
Wow.
in Irvine, California. So this is his sister and her boyfriend at the time. And then this is
Like
two
the
of us.
universe
This
is
is another wedding.
conspiring. Wow.
Right. So I tried to meet as many relatives as possible. So I met his entire one part of family in Australia and another part in Southern California.
Wow.
So that's one thing, because I really wanted to make sure he's completely out to his family. I have no time to deal with the drama of coming out and family bitching about it. Like, no, you need to be completely out. That was one of my criteria. And then on my side, most of my family, of course, the US family, my parents and my sister and my niece, he met pretty much on day one. And before we got married in India, I did a grand tour of meeting all relatives. So that's why this is also all December 2017, like a couple weeks before my wedding.
This is
Yeah.
also like such an example, like I mean, again, this is the purpose of this whole session, right? Like we keep talking about how, we we keep seeing hardship and a lot of suffering and a lot of problems, that keep happening because that's like part and parcel of being part of the community. It just comes with it. And that's okay, we welcome it. But to see that, you like we're able to find love and find happiness and family, and that's truly, truly inspiring. I'm sorry, I really cut you off. Go on.
No, it looks all rosy and everything, but there is a lot of
A lot of
hardship
thoughts.
behind it, and I will talk about it. I'm not shy. But
Yeah,
let's
absolutely.
stick to the rosy picture for now,
Okay.
because I want to
So
contrast this all with other hardships. Yeah.
yeah, I know there's
Yeah.
some
So
hardship, right?
yeah. So yeah, we did get our families involved before the actual India wedding. And we went in steps, and I'll talk more about it after your second question, because your second question asks me
Yes,
our
yes, I
wedding.
want to know. Yes, who proposed and where and how filmy was it? I really want to know all the details. We want to know all the details.
So my husband is really passionate about nature. He loves gardening. He grows his own, herbs and things like that in our backyard. And the flower here, poppy, is the state California flower, bright orange, and it signifies triumph in many ways, because California is essentially a desert, right? And the the plant it's a native plant, so it's able to survive here, but there is a lot of weeds and other grasses that came from outside, and they kind of took over a lot of land. Um, but when there is severe drought, the other plants cannot survive. And then when there is when there is rain, these flowers just pop out everywhere. And there are especially some areas like Antelope Valley. It's like a sea and ocean of these flowers. And one of my friends, he said, there's super bloom happening. So why don't you go with your husband, with your boyfriend at the time? And I thought about it, and I was like, this is a good time. I know what I need to know, all the check marks right now. So let me propose. And so we made a trip to Southern California. I had my sister and my parents knew that I was going to propose. And so we went there, and that's where I proposed. That's poppies in the back. They don't look as impressive in this picture, but
No,
believe me,
can imagine.
wonderful sight. And then the next picture is, of course, with my parents and my sister and my niece. And if you want to know where that is, it's this red dot in this US map. And of course, Yeah, my parents were not happy about this kind of engagement proposal. They said, like, this is not engagement. We need to have puja, we need to have party, we need to have friends. And so my sister threw this grand party, uh, invited a lot of my friends, and we did a little bit of puja and some Indian rituals.
So, yeah, expected of any family wedding ceremony that is happening. The Tam Jham, we call it, right? Oh, Tam Jham. So as a couple, do you feel like you've always wanted the same thing? Or is it a work in progress, building toward common objectives? For instance, you always wanted, to settle down with your parents and perhaps children. How did they react to that? Or were there any other obstacles that, you came across when you were, sort of courting each other or with your parents? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's always going to be similarities and differences. So in terms of compatibility, of course, there was physical attraction, and then chemistry means, sexual chemistry. But we also have other things in common, hiking, you know, um, uh, he is a teacher, he doesn't make as much money, but I make decent money. So there was a clear understanding of who is going to do what financial role. I made sure we both wanted kids. It was pretty clear from the beginning that he's going to be living with me and my parents here. And there's going to be we're going to have it open to all of our family members. So no hiding anywhere. Those were some of the compatibility factors, and I had to figure it out one by one. And going to each other's families and weddings is one way of doing that. And just getting to know each other. These, in my big checklist, these were the uncompromising factors. Of course, there were some other factors which I thought was uncompromising. Like I wanted somebody who can appreciate Bollywood, and my husband cannot stand it. Rather, he says, I have no interest in it. You enjoy. But it's kind of difficult not to enjoy Bollywood with your partner. And there are many differences. He's a Buddhist, I'm an atheist. Luckily, he's not very strong, not very religious. And our food is different. I'm mostly vegetarian. He eats anything that moves. Our hobbies are different. And there is a lot of cultural difference too. I mean, despite me being here in the US for such a long time, I still have kept a lot of Indian culture. And he came here when he was 8-year-old. So he grew up with American culture. And trust me, there is a lot of clash there, especially when you live together. It's clash on simple things. So give you an example. He cooked something and I offered my parents to eat it. And my parents took a little thing and said, oh, it's nice, acha, right? And after that, they didn't eat. And for an Indian, that's a normal response. Okay, yes, they liked it. But from his point of view, okay, they liked it. Why are they not eating more? Are they lying to me? I mean, that's American way of thinking. Okay, if you liked it, you should take more. And an Indian person will say, no, how can I take more? He needs to ask me like 10 times before I take more. So some slight, cultural differences, and then those things easily blow up sometimes. It's a big thing. But yes, we survived. We're still surviving.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I guess that's inevitable, right? And that's also what makes it so like such a rich, sort of a union, because it's not just two very similar people or people with similar interests and hobbies, and because then like how will you grow, right? Like how will you sort of become better than who you were before you got married. So I guess we all need a balance of, spice and sweet. And that's what this union seems to
Right.
be.
Yeah, so I mean, two people are never going to be identical. You just have to figure out, both of you need to figure out where you cannot compromise, and what are the places you can compromise. So places you cannot compromise, those better align. Because if they don't align, then at some point it will just create fight and nobody wins there.
Yeah, because you're not
It's like
willing to
I like
touch.
yellow color, you like red color. We cannot compromise on an orange color, and that's not a happy life. So that's
Oh,
why it's really important to know what you cannot compromise on, and make sure those better align.
that's the message. I'm noting down stuff to like sort of apply to my life as well, right? Like knowing what you want, going for your goals, and also prioritizing happiness, right? Prioritizing your own happiness over a lot of other things. And that's important, and that's okay, right? Like we tend to sort of have a very skewed opinion of how a relationship should be, right? And we tend to go by like instincts and the feels and okay, pyar, and it's not just that, right? A relationship is also an investment, especially if you're part of the community, right? You have an identity that you have to also understand, right? Like you have to, like your partner has to acknowledge it, you have to acknowledge it. It's a bigger picture, right? You have to both want the same things in the future, and it's okay to want things differently, but ultimately building toward the same objectives, and that's important. It's really like a very strong message to send to the community as well. That it's okay. It's okay. It's perfectly okay to want things for yourself and for your partner and to build together. Yeah.
The other thing I would
Um.
say about this relationship thing is that do not take it lightly. It takes a lot of time and energy. I did 2 India trips for this, and I did it all myself. A lot of gay people from India, they come to me and say, "Hey, find me a boyfriend." No, it's not that easy. I have no
Mhm.
clue what your priorities are. I don't really necessarily know anybody else's priorities. I cannot just say that, okay, meet this guy and everything is going to be fine. This is takes a lot of work. It has to be done by yourself, and do not outsource it to anybody, please. When I was doing this search, my performance at work really went down. Luckily, I had a supportive boss, and he know what what I was going through, so he let me slack.
Oh, that's important, and it really ties up because ultimately we are a sum total of our experiences and the people that we meet, people who support us, people who uplift us. Ah, yeah, takes me back. Okay. So basically, we're winding up now, by and by. And yeah, so a message that Rishi sir specifically requested to be highlighted when he spoke on the phone was how he wanted this session and our viewers to know that although his life, like every life, has not been easy. It was difficult coming out to people in conservative small town of Yavatmal, even to his own parents. It wasn't easy to settle down in the States so far away or to find love, like he's talking about. And there's also a slide that we're going to come to right now. But the bigger picture, right? In June 2017, Rishi threw a party for the engaged couple, and Rishi and Vin also decided to have a commitment ceremony in India for their official wedding uh, in California. In fact, this was one of the first recognized gay marriages in India. So how do we want to do this, Rishi? So do we want to, sort of talk about some of the obstacles that you may have faced, or do we want to bombard our audience with some anecdotes of the weddings? However you want.
So another wedding slide, and I'll talk about some unique things that happen. I haven't really talked to media about it, I think.
Absolutely.
So these are some of the pictures from the Indian wedding. There was an interesting story about the cake in my hometown. Nobody really knew what gay stuff is and what rainbow is and all that. So I had to really explain everything. I had to get this little guy figurine from US because there was no way I could find it in India. And then I kind of asked the baker to, put this cake like this. And I gave him a rainbow flag and he was like worried the colors are not exactly matching. And I was like, don't worry, you know, as long as it's like a generic yellow, generic red, it's fine. And then I put this name Vin, and he was confused what the hell that is, because in Yakma, nobody really knows Vietnamese names. And before the wedding, I didn't want to create too much tamasha, so I just said, just put it there. And so that was a little, and something similar happened with the Mehndi guy. You know, he came to our house a few days before, and we wanted to keep Mehndi on our each other's hand, and I wanted to put Vin on my hand and, you know, my name on his hand. And of course, he was going to do the Mehndi. So he initially thought, okay, why am I asking VINH on my hand? And then after my Mehndi was over, I called Vin, and then he was like, and a guy comes out of the bedroom. And then I asked him, okay, put my name on his hand. So at that point, he really knew what was going on, but like, you know, he did his job.
Ayo.
And then one day before, the morning of my wedding, we decided to do this haldi ceremony at my home. And there was my mom, and then there was another auntie who came to do the ceremony. But then for the ceremony, they needed 5 women to do this, what we call akshavan. And there were no other women. So some of my friends jumped in. It's like, we don't care, you know, we'll do it. So one of my friends is doing the same akshavan ceremony, which normally a woman is supposed to do. And there were some interesting stories around this dance too. We danced to Maine Pyar Kiya song, Aate Jaate. And the reason being, it's stolen from one of the Western popular songs. And Vin was familiar with it.
Which one?
Yeah, the tune is from Bee Gees' song. I just want to say I love you. That's the song. And, you know, Vin knew the song, and I knew of the Maine Pyar Kiya song. So that was an easy choice. The interesting thing was the dance company where we wanted to learn the steps. And the guy was thinking of some wild song, a dance song, like, you know, some popular at the time. But they were not romantic or anything. And we said, okay, we wanted romantic stuff. And they had no clue we were a couple. So, but by the time I explained him what kind of song I wanted and blah, 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 it was pretty clear. So, yeah, it was an interesting experience for the teacher who was teaching us the dance step and all the other kids there because they were watching us practice. So yeah, we practiced for a few days and we performed in my wedding. Eventually, the same dance we performed in California because we didn't have time to learn another dance step, right?
Recycle, reuse content. Great.
Yeah. California is also an interesting story. The photographer wanted to take some funny pictures. So this is one of them. And, you know,
I can see the
looking at the
timing
picture,
heavily.
who knows who is in charge, right?
Oh.
But at the same time, he also helps out. So, you know, we had 2 parts to the ceremony. One was the wedding and then the reception. So after the wedding was done in this particular Asian, like really good Asian looking Japanese building, we didn't have enough people. So we had to carry our stuff. You know, in India, the groom or the bride, they'll never do such a thing on their wedding. But, you know, this is US, so we had to do our part. That's interesting. And then, of course, the dance. And then the other interesting tidbit about our wedding is everybody ate and we were hungry because we were taking pictures with others and all that. And the food was running out. And but yeah, my parents kind of said, okay, you guys better eat now. And Vin was really getting mad because he was really hungry. So we had a nice romantic little lunch after that.
Angry. Why we are also talking in detail about this particular wedding, as you know, of course, you know, Rishi sir is our guest, and definitely we want to delve into that. But this happens to be one of like, or probably the first Indian gay wedding, right, to be documented and celebrated widely, right, across newspapers, online news channels. There are like so many articles. Like if you like Google, that's what I did, and I got a lot of misinformation, of course. But the moment I like typed Yavatmal wedding, gay couple, it's like popped up. It rained information, and that's history, right? That's history for you right there. That's huge. So this is amazing. Yeah, particularly the Thai photograph. And I see your cake person has also then like instead of the rainbow flag has put the flowers in the rainbow colors. At least compromise there somehow. Mhm. Right.
So,
Go on.
yeah, so the main section I wanted to kind of focus on was this all looks happy, happy, joy, joy. This is actually a phrase here in the US. It's not a repetition by mistake. It comes from this cartoon series called Ren and Stimpy. And one of the characters there, he's just always happy, happy, joy, joy. Anyway, so although from the pictures it looks like all happy and everything, it was not really like that. I had to go through my share of struggles. We were a lower middle class family, always money problems. On top of that, my aunt was very religious, and she influenced the family a lot. And whatever little money we had, we were spending an insane amount of that on temple stuff. And yeah, we kind of went through a lot of hardships. Even when I wanted to get into IIT, there was hardly any information in my small town. I had to go to Chennai, and I did some things that I'm not really proud of, like riding a bus without a ticket, getting caught once, you know, because I was under severe pressure that there is not enough money. So I did go through those moments. Of course, I was staying in Chennai without that time. Living in Chennai is not bad, but for somebody who is 18-year-old, who cannot really speak English, mostly Hindi and Marathi, not knowing Tamil, it was tough. And on top of that, I had to study for IIT, dealing with all that other life stuff. And first time I was staying out of my house. So you have to do it. Not everybody is gifted to live in a big city where IIT coaching is available and all these facilities are available. You have to take the opportunities and you have to put up with whatever it takes. Even after getting into IIT, there was something in me that my batchmates knew I'm not straight. I myself was not clear what is gay, homosexuality, but there was something in me that my hostel mates knew, and they always used to make fun of me, like Rishi, hi. And I was depressed and mad, and I went to the IIT psychotherapist to kind of understand what's going on, and he tried to molest me, which I strongly kind of got out of the situation, thankfully. During my IIT time, it was not really clear what is homosexuality. I had not met anybody else who was homosexual. Only after coming to the US, there was LGBT club in my university. So I met other people who were gay, and then I really felt comfortable. But at the same time, you coming to US, you face racism. You're not white, you are a person of color. There is a lot of racism even within the LGBT community. I faced that. When I talked to my counselor, the LGBT counselor, because I had just started coming out to my parents, and he was like, oh, tell your parents, get the fuck off or whatever, and move out of there and blah, blah, blah. I was like, what are you talking about? They're living in India. I'm already up. And he's like, if you're living outside of them, then what's the problem? For them, it was like, they couldn't understand. And for me, yes, my parents are having a problem, but I'm not going to give up on my family. So again, cultural differences that I had to go through. When I came out, there was more than 8 years of drama with my family, crying, you're not our son, we'll never meet, never come back, we'll never visit you in the US. Uh, when I visited India, my mom was like almost ready to tear apart my passport and visa. And yeah, we went through a lot of that. um, Eventually, when I started working, I started making money, so money was not a problem, but I cannot change the society. I was in Idaho, it's very conservative, homophobic, as well as racist. So I was a double minority there. And as much as I'm atheist, the only Indian culture there was ISKCON temple. So it was kind of, you had to, you don't always get what you want. You have to just live with what you have access to. I said, okay, I cannot live in Idaho. So I moved to California. That's when I kind of met Trikone folks and everything was good. But, the corporate culture had not changed by then. This is early 2000, 2001. There was no laws. There was no law protecting LGBT people. So, I did a lot of campaigns, political rallies, whatever, to make the marriage legal here in the US, to get other protections. I just did a little contribution. There were other people who were really at the forefront of it. But you have to fight for your rights. Many years, even after everything became legal, the Indian population here is still homophobic. There was a rally for Modi was coming here in San Jose, heart of Silicon Valley, heart of supposedly liberal land. Modi was coming here, and so we went there saying, hey Modi, you have this Digital India theme where everybody is included as a part of that. So don't ignore the LGBT community. But some of the RSS folks, they did not like it. There is an equivalent for RSS here. It's called HSS, Hindu, something like that. And those people drove our Trikone people out. And there is an article on that online. I'm sure you'll find it. So it's not easy. You have to constantly fight. Even after I was comfortable in everything, I decided to go to my hometown and have wedding. Not all my relatives were happy. There was one aunt who had not talked to me for like 25 years, suddenly popped out of nowhere and said, you are ruining the family name. I will not let you do that, blah, blah, blah. And she would not talk to me directly. And she would talk through my cousins and my father's friends. And luckily, one of my father's friends told her, Lalu, what are you doing in the four corners of your home? Get out. The world has moved on. And but nevertheless, for everybody, no matter how privileged they look, how happy the life look, there are struggles, and you just have to keep at it. Leverage your family, leverage a family that is supportive, leverage the greater LGBT family, leverage organizations like Anajori. I leverage Trikone and my friends there. Make your family there, right?
Oh, that's lovely. That's just yeah, it's not all sunshine days. There are good days and there are bad days. Behind every success story, there's bound to be multiple hardships, hurdles, obstacles, whatever you may call it. I know we, sort of misled our audience a little bit when we said, oh, this insanely successful person is happy in love and all of that. But this is the backstory, and this is something that we want to also focus on, right? This exists, but as a parting message, I think we would also like for you to understand that only by overcoming such obstacles can we find or achieve greatness. And achieving greatness is also a work in progress. It's something that we are constantly moving toward, not something that we get to and we stagnate and this is nirvana. And that's not how it works, right? Everything's hustle, 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 work, 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 and every member of the community has at some point or the other faced hardship, faced discrimination, uh, unwanted attention, and so forth. And then that is not pleasant. It's not cool, but we overcome it and we emerge stronger. That's at least what we try to do. Yeah, I guess that sort of wraps up the session. Unless Rishi sir, you have any other parting message that you would want to give.
Yeah, so some key key messages here. You will have shit. Everybody is not given the same cards. You will have different difficulties than what I had, but everybody has that. You really have to have a positive attitude. Look at the glass half filled instead of half empty. Keep the confidence, because if you're not confident, then others will latch onto it. In Hindi, they say, "Dabane wale ko log aur dabate hai." So you have to feel confident that being gay is perfectly natural and all that. If you don't have that attitude, people will quickly get on your nerves. Try to get financially independent as soon as possible, because once you're financially independent, people look at you differently. And I noticed that my parents treated me differently, my friends treated me differently. So yeah, really don't get carried about, oh, I don't have a boyfriend. Come on, you're only 18. You don't need a boyfriend right now. Focus on your education, focus on getting financially independent first. And then there are other things like open communication. Do not assume people know certain things. Sometimes a lot of hard things, but you have to say it. That really resolves a lot of problems. And of course, you have to compromise. And as I said before, agree on some of the important things that you cannot compromise. And then it's okay to disagree on other things and compromise. I mean, these are not just, I did not pick this up from here and there. These are my actual life experiences that, that I have learned from.
Thank you so much.
And if somebody is interested in contacting me, these are the different ways I can be reached at.
I am
Feel
going
free
to
to contact me in any and every way.
Share it. In the meantime, thank you so much for a very beautiful session. This is a one of a kind, unique session where we are, starting to interview our inspirations so that we can, not just talk about academic achievements or unique angles in which we sort of view the world through research, but also life experiences, and things that make us who we are. So thank you so much for waking up this early and being with us. If the audience has any questions, we would love to hear those, and then we can, wrap up the session. At least 5 more minutes. Yes.
I have a comment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Rishi, congratulations and thank you for such a nice experiential lecture on giving the tips of living a gay life, and thank you for accepting our invitation, especially my invitation, on behalf of Enazari, and coming here and spending your valuable time. And a lot of things actually I wanted to know, and answers were actually automatically given by you, in this beautiful speech. And just one thing, that what's your plan regarding your future with your partner? I mean, like.
Yeah, we are looking to have kids. First of all, we tried the foster parenting route, where the local kids whose parents somehow get disqualified to raise kids because they're ignoring their kids, they're doing drugs or whatever reason, got into accident and are incapable of taking care of the kids. Those foster kids, we tried to kind of help initially. But the problem there is if it's a local foster agency, the agency tries to reunite the parents. So that's a temporary situation. So we moved on to something called international fostering, where the kids from the refugee, from the troubled parts of the world, they come to US as refugees. And then we kind of give them support and everything. But those are usually older kids, 15 plus. And we have had some of those kids for weekends, for like even month at a time. And then after everything, we're realizing that this fostering is not going to work. Win was passionate about it because he himself is like a refugee. And so we wanted to help. But it's not, there's a lot of unknowns there, and that we did not know the trouble spots, and it's not really working out. So we are pivoting to just plain adoption. I explored adoption from India, but we are in a weird state. The adoption agency usually cares about you need to be a married couple and all that, and there are certain age limits. And right now, me and my husband, both of us being US citizens, that's another level of complication if I want to adopt from India. So we are kind of giving up on Indian adoption. So we'll just adopt somebody here.
Okay, thank you, Rishi, and good night.
I'm sure it'll work out in the end.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I always love to talk to the community members and do anything in my capacity to help.
Any more questions? I'm sure it will eventually work out, like you have figured out other hurdles in life, and this is also something that it's a very noble endeavor to try and adopt refugee children, or to reach out across the country, across the continent, and give Indian children a home if they don't have one. But yes, I'm assuming there must be complications. I'm really sorry if this question sort of brings a little discomfort to you. But we sincerely
No, it's
hope that
perfectly fine. I think people should be honest about their problems. When you are honest about it, again, it goes back to the communication, right? People will help you. And I'm not the only one with problems. Everybody has problem in life, so why not talk about it?
Absolutely. Mirinda, I think you had a question.
Yeah, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to say hello. And though Rishi doesn't remember me, but that 2006 DesiQ photograph he showed, I was there. And I'm connecting after all these years. Here I am now in Assam. And I did not even know that they had invited you. But in the flyer, I saw your picture. I like, okay, I know this person. So that I immediately reach out to Parajita and see that it is, I confirmed that this is the same person. I got your number there. And it was interesting because lots of things that you said, we had gone through quite a lot of similar journey, did engineering, did not know about LGBT, but that I knew, I saw you did not maybe follow Martina, but I did follow Martina. So see, through her, I came to know the word gay, because I also studied in vernacular medium. I studied in a government school here. And in the commentator said something about Martina being gay and her girlfriend. So I came to know about that in, I think, 89. So I came to know about the word gay. Then I saw Hijra in what do you call, Gujarat. I was studying in REC Surat. And then I followed Martina because I knew that Martina in US, so there will be more people came. I was also second-class citizen because I'm Indian, but queer, but Indian, didn't fit in the whole journey, except that I'm trans and you are gay, whatever. that little bit different, but other than that, similar path. Lots of bumps in our romantic life. And congratulations, you found your partner. I found Assam, my love for Northeast. And though I didn't have kids, but I have all these kids, Aparajitas, and all these young kids that I work with over here. They make my hair gray quite often. And they all know also that I'm quite strict. So, again, I also try to do adoption, in fact. And it was interesting because first kid, when we selected, it was from actually Bombay, long time back. But that kid had microcephaly. So my sister and my brother-in-law both said that don't go ahead. That time I didn't have a partner. So it will be too much for you because 95%, it had huge, and most likely the person will be with special needs. So that I had to finally back off. Then I tried to have a kid from Assam because I am from Assam. And that time there was no agency approved by CARA. CARA is the Central Adoption Resource Agency. And I tried to adopt a kid from here. That person over here, a person who had the adoption agency to turn his money, black money, white, basically. He was not interested in adoption. Most corrupt person. So had a fight with him, of course. And then I fought. He said that how can you? He first asked me, that time I was female body. So he said that, where is your husband? I said, I don't have a husband. I have a good job. So all that thing happened. Then I met with the CARA's chairperson in Delhi, and she also happened to be a single woman that time, my age, and she really fought for this case. And then 5 years later, the rector called me, said, aren't you the person who wanted to adopt a child? It is all approved. You can go ahead and adoption. But by the time my partner and I, who wanted to adopt together, we wanted to adopt together. She just, we broke up, and, I couldn't do it alone. So when they called me to adopt a child, it was too late. And now hindsight, I feel everything happens for good, because I realize I'm so short tempered. I'll not be good with kids. It will drive me crazy. They will not listen to me. All these people who are
I'm not
not
so
with
sure
kids.
about that, Milan. I disagree with you there. There are many parents who are hot-tempered. They're just too fine.
So, but
you also have a lot of love, so don't worry about that part.
But all these people become my extended family. I moved back to Assam and have been working with, you know, uh, our future generation. It's becoming a bigger family now. So yeah, and here we are having you as our guest. I'm so happy, and I'm looking forward to work with you. We have lots of hope, and we want to, our one of my dream is to make Assam the best place in India for animal and human. And as you can see, all the animals are waiting over here. I have 4 of them, all the street dogs and cats. So those are my family now. So anyway, I'm very happy that you got your partner. I hope that your dreams come true, and maybe in the future, maybe you will come back to Assam. I did not know that you were here in 2015, but next time when you come, we are here for you, and as your team is here for you. Thank you.
Absolutely, that would be wonderful. I mean, thank you to the team, Anajori, and you. You guys are doing a great job there. Please keep up, and let me know how I can be of any help. This is easy. I can do more. You can push me for doing more.
We'll do that. We'll absolutely do that. We'll in fact speak more about that. We were hoping to do that after this session. But this in itself has been such a treasure trove of inspiration and information, and I absolutely love this doing this with you. And it didn't feel like a session. It felt more like just a conversation that had to happen. Do we have any other questions? If not, then we can wrap up. I'm sure Rishi sir also has to get ready for work in the day. Yeah.
If you are
Okay.
shy, you can email me or reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn.
Yes, I will. I will share the contact details that was shared. I'll put it on WhatsApp and I'll share that with you.
Prajita,
Um. Oh,
seriously, I have one question.
yes.
Because you said that, reach out to you if we need help. And we will, definitely. But I would like to know, what are the main skill set do you have, that you would like to share, your skill set? Is it marketing you work or you did MBA, right? Or
Yeah, so definitely marketing strategy, things along those lines. I'm mostly versed with the hardware side of the technology, but if there is something needed on the software side, I could potentially investigate with my friends.
so some of the things that we may require is that, I don't know which company you work for. It will be great help to
Samsung.
get some used cell phone, used laptop, old laptop, recycle or upcycle, whatever you say it. And then eventually it will be great to have, have some software which is could be used for helpline. As you know, we are trying for helpline, the helpline software, those kind of things. And the young generation over here, I think, really need help with planning, how to do planning. Not only young generation, to be honest, even the government needs it. I'm sure that the CM would love to have it, but anyway, those are far cry. But you know uh, there is hardly any planning, and there's no strategy. So they will dream, there will be a meeting, and day for yesterday I was told that I have to speak in a government institute at 11 o'clock, next day. So think there's no meeting at all. So how could we bring planning, and strategy, and how you implement those? I feel people are really uh, lagging here, specifically Northeast. They are good in report writing. They will write a fluffy, nice report that you can get it. But strategy, planning, implementation, that's where we are looking for help. So anything you or your friend, if they could help us giving some training or hand holding, that would be great.
So just to give you an example of this particular interview, right? I worked with Aprajita. She had a call with me. She came with the questions. She shared those with me in advance. And I was able to put this presentation. If it was just a conversation, I would not be able to go in such details in a quick manner. There will be 5 things here and there that I will miss out on. But we had a plan, right? We did a little bit of planning ahead of time, gave ourselves more time to think about questions, think about answers. And it just turns out to be much better than just an impromptu conversation. So it's a very simple example of how planning helps.
So what
Aparajita is one of our bright intern, right? She came from Delhi University, right? But we also want to reach out to the students who are studying from, like, Dibrugarh or Jorhat, where, they may not have this much of exposure, or they may not be that fluent in English, or, so we want to reach out to the
Let's talk
interior.
later on, Milan, and we can come up with a few things, perhaps.
Definitely. Thank you.
let's so what I'll do is again, create a plan tentatively about what we can do, with in collaboration with you, and we'll set up a meeting whenever it's convenient for you, and the team, and we'll talk about the headline and other projects in detail. Yeah, we'll go with the plan so that we can cover everything, and right, so it's organized.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Amazing. So we'll wrap up this session for now, and Saptarang, we can now go off the live. This has been amazing. We will hopefully see you again soon, and see you sometime, you and Vin together in the Northeast, where we can welcome you and have you dance to Maine Pyar Kiya all over again.
Oh my God, I forgot the steps.
It's okay. We'll do a Bihu set up.
but he's looking forward to a Northeast trip someday.
Really? No, I mean, if he's around, I'd love to say hi or not. That's okay. Yeah.
Maybe not in the next couple of years. Maybe after that.
No problem. If I come see you in the US, I will drop by unexpected. Okay. Lovely session.
All right.
Thank you all so much for being a lovely audience. I will see you again in a fortnight, Thursday. Bye bye. Have a good night. And Ishisa, have a good morning. Bye bye.